Welcome to the Room of Living Indigenous Communities. As we have seen throughout the rooms, the territory that now forms what we know as Colombia has hosted communities with highly distinct cultural practices, even since pre-Hispanic times. This diversity is further accentuated by migrations and social interactions that emerged during the colonial period, with the arrival of new human groups from other continents in the 16th century. These groups not only disrupted many practices of native communities, but also created and adapted new traditions. These are the origins of the groups that currently make up Colombia as a multi-ethnic and multicultural country. The Living Communities Room is a tribute to those human groups who, with effort, preserve the knowledge and cultural traditions. The room originated as a research project in collaboration with members of various indigenous communities. They crafted garments and other elements of their daily lives specifically for this collection, along with a series of investigations on their costumes published under their authorship in the Weaving Memory series. In this way, the Costume Museum aims to present these outfits with respect and consensual horizontal dialogue, intending to disseminate and promote among visitors the importance of understanding the textile traditions of these communities that guard the knowledge of our ancestors. These traditions help us understand that for these communities, attire is of utmost importance for their recognition and identity. For example, we can see how weaving constitutes one of the traditional myths. For the Wayuu, the spider Walakeru taught them the art of weaving sashes and hammocks and designing patterns called canas found in their pieces. We also observe textiles as a representation of time, such as the tampokwari hats or tambourine, which is the snail with which the Misak conceived their history, linked to a center representing their ancestors. For some communities, not only the product, but also the instruments explain their conception of their territory, as seen in the loom used by the Aikiu or Awaku community to create cotton and wool garments. This loom, with two intertwined logs, represents the division between the communities of the Sierra. The tradition of collecting, weaving, making, and creating identity pieces is a common denominator in all living communities in this room. To obtain these garments, learning and knowledge transmission of techniques, patterns, and the living environment are essential, passed down from older generations to new ones. This includes techniques for fiber preparation, spinning, and dyeing, alongside the tradition of weaving, which highlights techniques such as looms, needlework, knotting, crochet, among others. Despite the strong attachments of communities to their traditions, the dynamism that characterizes all human groups has led to the incorporation of industrial production materials in a context of globalization and market expansion. Over time, these materials have been embraced by some of these human groups, becoming part of their attire. This includes garments like the felt hat and boots worn by the Misak, or raw materials such as brightly colored imported fabrics used to make kuna molas, Inga and Kametsa shawls, Mbeda and Wayuu dresses, among others. It is also notable how the Wunan and Kuna communities use old and recent silver coins as raw materials, transforming them into accessories like necklaces, parumas, earrings, anklets, and more. For Indigenous community, attire reps an identity, symbolic and communicative aspect worn daily, reminding them of their origins and beliefs. There are also ceremonial garments used in ritual contexts by community members with a supernatural role. Examples include festivals at the end of a cycle, such as the Forgiveness Carnival in Sibundoy, where Ingas and Kamensa wear masks, chumbe, and feather crowns. We also see the wipalas and garments used in celebrations during solstices and equinoxes according to the Yanacona tradition. On the other hand, healing ceremonies like the yage consumption led by a traditional healer for the Ingas involve the traditional healer wearing feather crowns, wind leaves, large necklaces, and masks to ward off evil spirits. There are also harvest and celebration ceremonies such as the doll dance or chontarudo dance, celebrated by the various Amazonian communities, where costumes made of yanchama bark decorated with natural pigments are prominent, accompanied by masks and carved heads representing nature spirits that bring abundance to their crops. To get a glimpse of the rich diversity embedded in the costumes of living communities, we invite you to explore the publications of Weaving Memory and visit the Indigenous Costume Room located on the second floor of the Costume Museum.